Hey, high school staff. Hey, I know that normally around this time, as we get ready for grow groups, that we would be meeting in person and probably some sort of a staff meeting. I'd be sharing some of these thoughts with you, but that's not the case, obviously. So I thought I'd do a video and just give you take a few moments and just give you a little bit of encouragement and just take some time to remind us all about what our ultimate purpose and goal is. If you are like me, it becomes very, very easy to just get into the routine, kind of do the things that we have scheduled to do. You know, it's this time of year, it's time for grow groups, and this is what we do for grow groups because that's the way we've always done it, and we just kind of do our routine because it's our routine. And it's easy to forget the why. It's easy to forget the purpose behind why we do what we do. And so I want to take just a few minutes and remind all of us of that, and hopefully give you some encouragement. And really, ultimately, this is just stuff that I've been trying to remind myself. I think these are things that the Lord's been reminding me and teaching me, and I've been trying to keep in front of myself. And so my desire is to just pass it on to you. And this has certainly inspired me, and I hope it encourages and inspires you. So really briefly, I'm just going to talk about a few quick things. I want us to once again ask the question, what is our purpose? Like, why do we do what we do in high school ministry? Why do you serve in high school ministry? Why are you a grow group leader? Why do you care for and show up to, care for these students and show up to these events and spend time with them? Do we do it just because it's our routine and our normal, or is there a bigger reason? And I think, and I believe, and I know you do too, but we need to remember that our purpose is to make disciples who make disciples. Another way I've heard it said is to make disciple-making disciples. In other words, our purpose is to reproduce ourselves. Our purpose is that we wouldn't just forever be these, leaders who, in some way, just like make these great memories in students' minds, and that we're just, these idols in these students' minds. No. Our goal is to point them to Christ and encourage them to then do the same thing, to, as I said, reproduce ourselves. Really, I think one of the great texts that summarize this so well is in 2 Timothy 2:2. I always think of that because it's 2:2:2:2. Or 2:2:2. There we go. If we were in person, you'd all be making fun of me right now. So that's the nice thing about being doing it in front of a camera. But in 2 Timothy 2:2, and the things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable men and women who will be qualified to teach others. So you get that picture of what you've heard me say, entrust it to people who will be able to teach it to other people. And so staff, I think the one takeaway from all this, from this video, that I want us to remember is our ultimate goal, our ultimate purpose is to make disciples who make disciples. We do events, we do activities and get-togethers and gatherings. We build relationships, and that's an important part, I think, of discipleship. But our goal is, we're not just a social club, and we're not just like glorified babysitters of these students. That's not our purpose. That's not our goal. Our goal is to pour into these students, point them to Christ, inspire them to follow Christ like we follow Christ, and then ultimately call them to then do the same thing. It's like that baton. We're passing the baton to the next generation and then calling them to pass the baton after that. So again, we make disciples who make disciples. That is our goal, our purpose, our calling, at the heart of it. If everything else was taken away and that was still what we were doing, that would be enough, because that's our job. A few things I want us to remember and be encouraged is I know, like you, our whole world has really been turned upside down. I mean, the very fact that I'm talking to you through a YouTube video just shows the extent of how so much has changed. And some of that's frustrating, discouraging, just upsetting, just because everything's so different. But remember that I think a lot of what has changed is our method of ministry, not our mission, not our purpose. There's methods of how we do things. So like before COVID, our methods were like monthly fellowships, Sunday morning big group time, beach camp, all those things that we're gathering together. That was a lot of our method, and it was through that method that we communicated our mission and our purpose of discipleship. Now, a lot of our method has changed, but our mission has never changed and never will. And we can still accomplish our mission primarily through grow groups, which is an amazing thing, which I'm very grateful for, and I hope you are too. And so keep in mind that even though some of our methods have changed temporarily, our mission hasn't. And so keep your eye on the mission. I heard it said one time, date the method, marry the mission. And I always like that word picture, and that's a good one that's helped me a lot to remember like where to put my priorities, and just where to put my priorities. So be excited that we're still able to disciple through grow groups, which I would say and I would argue is our primary and has always been our primary and most effective method of discipling students. And so this year, I am, in a sense, doubling down on grow group ministries, and I am in my heart and in my mind and in our focus. I want us to really put a lot of emphasis on grow groups. Grow group leaders, I want you to see just the weight and the importance of your role in the 6, 7, 8 kids that you have in your grow group, and realize that you are the primary point of contact for these students, that you are kind of the tip of the spear of the church, if you will, if you think of that you are on the front lines of discipling these students as the church. For the first 6 weeks, kind of looking at like what we're going to be doing in grow groups, as you know, we talked about kind of doing these videos and teaching from these videos and what that's going to look like. But for the first 6 weeks, we're going to look at the idea of what is a disciple. And I emailed you, along with this link, I emailed you an image of kind of 3 circles. And what is in those circles, kind of this illustration of how we understand discipleship. And within these 3 circles is knowledge of God and self, community, and mission. And just focusing on any one of those 3 things isn't discipleship, but right in the middle, right where all those 3 things meet, that's how we would understand discipleship. And so we're going to spend 2 weeks talking about each one of those 3 circles and how they fit into this picture of discipleship. A few other things. Grow group leaders, I want to encourage you, focus on those students who want to be there. I know that it's easy to get discouraged when you look at your roster of 10 students, and every week only 6 of those 10 show up, or 5 of those 10, and there's always those few that, like, you text them, you reach out to them, you encourage them, and you hear crickets, and there's nothing, and you just can't get them to show up. You can't get them to show interest. And yes, we should always have a heart for those kids and desire to reach out in an open hand to those students if they want to come. But I would say, don't beat yourself up over those 3, 4, or 5 who don't show up, but pour yourself fully, wholeheartedly, be excited about and invest in those 3, 4, 5 that do show up and who are there. It doesn't mean we just kick those to the curb. Never. We always want to leave the door open for them, but don't get so discouraged over those that you lose sight of those who are there, who want to be discipled. I mean, really, you look at it, like Jesus was like this. Jesus would teach to whole crowds, and almost all of them would kind of walk away like, I don't know about that. But then there was just his core 12 who always stuck around. You don't see Jesus wallowing in the corner because of the crowds that left him. You see him pouring and further explaining his parables and teachings to the 12 that stuck around. And so we need to do the same thing. And then just a few other things is some more encouragement. Don't sit around doing nothing, waiting to be told what to do from me. I'm going to try my best to give direction and give teaching and communication and guidance, but this year more than ever before, you have great freedoms to think outside the box and to think of clever ways to disciple your group. So don't sit around thinking like, oh man, it'd be great if we just, as a whole youth group, organized like a Bible reading app plan for all the students in the high school group. I mean, certainly pass that suggestion on to me, or if you have ideas, pass it on, send it around. But if you think that's a great idea, do that thing. If you think, oh, it'd be great to get, a bunch of students over for a gathering at my house. Like, it'd be great to get all the boys over at my house for a barbecue or something like that. Do that thing. I mean, just be creative, think outside the box, be clever, take the initiative. If you're picking up on what I'm trying to say, like take the initiative. Again, going back to that idea, like you are the tip of the spear of the church for reaching out for these kids. So again, take the initiative, be clever. Get busy building relationships with these students. Get really intentional about discipling them. Again, I've already been saying this, but be clever, be creative. Think of new and unique ways. I wrote down some ideas. You can take these just as suggestions, but I give these to you just to pick up on the spirit of what I'm trying to say. But like as a group, set like as you're with your grow group, for example, like set a daily alarm on your phone at like 12:15, and everybody on their phone at every day, like 12:15, the alarm goes off, and wherever you're at, everyone in the group just stops and they just spend 5 minutes in prayer, or 5 minutes like sending an encouraging text. That's something that every day, something that kind of unites you as a group. These are just ideas I'm thinking of. Again, like I said, a Bible reading plan through the Bible app. Maybe in your grow group, you want to get some different role models to like give their testimony or just share a little bit about their story to your group. So invite different like pastors, elders, different people from the church to come in, once a month. It's testimony Wednesday night or something like that. It's, one week a month, and you can invite different people to come in and share their testimony to your group. Maybe pick a section of scripture and you as a group commit to memorizing it, or a monthly service project. Again, these are just ideas that have been rattling around in my mind that I'm sharing with you just to, again, communicate to you. Like, take the initiative, be creative, think outside the box, think of new and unique ways to better disciple your students. Staff, I know, just to close this out, I know that this is a strange and a difficult time, but I think that God is shaping us into something really powerful and effective. I think God is showing us the thing that matters most. He's taking away kind of the fluff, the things that don't ultimately matter, and to show us the thing that does matter. And more than anything else, I am humbled and I'm deeply, very excited that God has chosen us to disciple and to lead these students in this unprecedented time. I think a season like this is a once in a lifetime thing. And this is tough for sure, but God has chosen us to lead these students through this difficult, unique, once in a lifetime season. And this could easily be the most effective, life-changing, life-altering season for these students, and we have the opportunity to have a voice in that season in their life. And so I'm excited, and again, very humbled that God has allowed and chosen us to be a part of that, and I hope you are too. So, staff, I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful, and I couldn't pick better people to walk through this season alongside of than you. Love you guys.